Hey guys, and welcome to another Professor Oak challenge. This time we take a look at yet another special Pokemon game. No, it's not a mainline game, nor is it a ROM hack. This time it's a fan game, Pokemon Fire Ash, made entirely for Pokemon Essentials. Fire Ash follows loosely the events of, well, Ash from the anime. You are not restricted to Kanto or Jotho, but it does include all generations up to Alola, with the game constantly being updated even further. The big difference is that in Pokemon Essentials, since it's computer based, it doesn't have the same limits as the conventional hacks for the consoles. So after my Silver Professor Oak challenge, I wanted to step the game up even further, and I asked myself, what if Ash actually was competent? That's what my Professor Oak challenge in Fire Ash is all about. With over 800 Pokemon to catch, let's get started. But first, as usual, what is the Professor Oak challenge? For those of you who are new to this, the Professor Oak challenge means basically catching and evolving the most amount of Pokemon, with the least amount of badges. So, before the first gym, we need to catch and evolve all Pokemon that crosses our way, to fill the pokedex to the maximum amount possible at this stage. Only one game is allowed, and glitches, cheats shall not be exploited. We start our journey as you would expect in Pallet Town. After waking up too late to get one of the conventional starters, Professor Oak gives us Pikachu, which will now follow us wherever we go. Together with Pikachu, we get our first 5 Pokeballs and a brand new Pokedex. Saying goodbye to our mom, we make our way to Route 1 to catch our first Pokemon, Rattata. While I was looking for more Pokemon to catch, I made sure to get every item that I find on my way. Section 1 usually is the hardest with many Professor Oak challenges, when it comes to grinding and money, so I made sure that every Pokeball count that I used. And even more so to collect every item. After buying a few more Pokeballs, I returned back to Route 1, where I caught a Pidgey. Returning to Viridian City to heal my Pokemon, I ran into Team Rocket for the first time, the same as Ash does in the anime. After kicking their butts and robbing them of their money, I mean, who's the real baddie here, I returned back to the route to fill my Pokedex even more. Here I caught Spearow, Sandshrew, Poliwag and Mankey. Lots of Pokemon to catch. I wanted to test out how far I can reach without a single badge, so I made my way to Viridian Forest. This is where I found one of the first iconic Pokemon. Those are basically the Pokemon Ash would have gotten on his journey nevertheless, and I gladly let them join my team as well. So Caterpie joined me and I made my way through the forest. I caught a Weedle and a Pidgeotto joined my team as well. After kicking the butt of a certain samurai you may know from the anime with his Pinsir, by the way, most epic fight of the anime, I used my time in Viridian Forest to add Kakuna, Beedrill and Fearow to my team, having now a total of 13 Pokemon. As you could expect, in Pewter City we couldn't advance further until we had beaten Brock. So now we have to grind to evolve our Pokemon. But before doing so, there's yet another Pokemon which we can catch for our journey. A Pokemon many of us remember from Ash's first steps into Kanto. Ho-Oh is surprisingly also available at Route 1, as a very rare 1% encounter. It is at level 50, and I have no real way of bringing down its health, since it one-shots any of my Pokemon, so throwing Pokeballs and hoping it stays is the way to go. I got incredibly lucky, and Ho-Oh stayed the very first time I encountered it, after only 6 Pokeballs. So Ash has a Ho-Oh now. That, Gary. As you can imagine, Ho-Oh is complete overkill for all of Kanto, and it will be an integral part of our team from now on. I mean, who wouldn't flex with a Ho-Oh as a trainer? Makes me think, how would the story have differed if Ho-Oh would have joined Ash from the start? Well, I mean, it's Ash after all, so my hopes are not that high. Anyways, we have now caught any Pokemon available at this section. Now we have to evolve any Pokemon we have. As you can imagine, our biggest pain in the ass was Pidgeotto, which evolves at level 36. Here's the problem now. This fan game may look like Gen 3, but its main mechanics are borrowed from Gen 5. This means scaled leveling. Yeah. This means that my Pokemon gain less and less experience with each level they gain, which didn't make things any easier. My main training spot was ironically Route 1, since Ho-Oh could still appear and spawn with a 1% encounter rate. So, using my own Ho-Oh and cross-switching, I managed to evolve my Rattata into Eradicate only after about one Ho-Oh defeated. It still sounds weird, but yes. That is our main training spot from now on. Poliwag I evolved into a Poliwhirl, Pidgeotto into a Pidgeot at level 36 after around 6 hours. And I can tell you, those 6 hours didn't come from fighting Ho-Oh directly, but from finding it in the first place. Since we are restricted on our money, buying repels is not really an option, so yeah, finding a 1% encounter spot is pretty tough. I evolved Sandshrew into a Sandslash, Caterpie into a Metapod and into a Butterfree after around 20 minutes. And finally my Mankey into a Primeape at level 28. Ho-Oh provides quite a few EXP and it's unfortunately the best training Pokemon. So by the end of the run I think I have the entire Ho-Oh population eradicated. With all Pokemon caught and evolved, we can now take on Brock, with 21 Pokemon registered and after about 9 hours. Not too bad for a first section. After defeating Brock, Route 3 is now finally open for exploration. Beside a couple of trainers, there are a few new Pokemon I can catch in this area. Here I got myself a Nidoran female and male, a Jigglypuff and a 1% Ekans. No Magikarp salesman, so I made my way straight into Mount Moon. Inside of Mount Moon there was of course a lot of Zubats, which one of them joined my team. But also other new Pokemon, like Paras, Clefairy and its evolution, Clefable. Also Geodude as a rare encounter for some reason at all. That gives me opportunity to tell you about how this game handles trait evolutions. Usually at this stage catching a Geodude, an Abra or a Machop means training to its first evolution stage and, well, that's it. Fortunately, or rather unfortunately for me, they added another way to evolve them. By going to level 35. Yeah. As for now, I continue my way through Mount Moon. As usual, collecting all items along my way, especially that one Moonstone. Moonstones in this stage are also a bit of a problem. We need 3 in total in this section and I can only find 1 hidden in Mount Moon. But don't worry, we are far away from being done with this place. So, for now on, let's head to Cerulean City. On Route 4, there's nothing new for us to catch, so I entered Cerulean City and grabbed the hidden rare candy there. After healing my Pokemon, I decided to go south, directly to Route 5. Route 5 is a game changer for the section, since it allows us to get our hands on wild Meowth, which have the ability of Pickup. Well, you may think it's GG now, infinite money, I can easily grind for infinite rare candies, and you would be right. Would. You see, this game may look like Gen 3, but as I said before, it actually borrows many of its mechanics from Gen 5, including the pickup chart. Well, let's take a look at it. Hold on, are those evolution stones? Is this a sunstone? A King's Rock? Well, I hope there aren't any Sunstone Pokemon or King's Rock Pokemon that I need to catch in this section. No. Well, we need Sunstones and a King's Rock. For that particular reason, I caught 5 Meowth on Route 5 and backtracked my way to Route 1, which is luckily possible in this fan game. You see, since I have to get them to at least level 31 anyways to even have a chance for a Sunstone, I decided to make some extra miles and grinded them up to level 41. This took a while, but the payoff was way better. In the middle of the grind, this happened. Oh god, yes, yes, yes. Anyway, this way, them being at least level 41, I can get rare candies with a 10% probability. I still need a few weak Meowth on my team too, to have a chance to grab a King's Rock, which I unfortunately can't get with my level 41 Meowth. So, a couple of grinded Meowths later, I got back to Route 5. Money now isn't really an issue anymore, thanks to pickup. And with a bit of luck I can collect a few rare candies on the way. I caught 2 Oddish and entered Hidden Forest, where I caught a Weepinbell, Staryu, another Rattata for an upcoming trade, and Ash's Bulbasaur, which is kindly offered to us to join our team. Leaving the Hidden Forest again, I returned to Cerulean City to trade my Rattata for Tangela. Hold on, every Pokemon is available. Gen 5 mechanics? Oh no, Tangrowth. For this it needs to level up well, knowing Ancient Power as far as I know. Surely it can't learn... no. More grinding, well... okay. At least it's a traded Pokemon, which gives us a boosted EXP gain, but still. Why? Kanto at this stage is fairly open, so I went back to the Hidden Forest to get to Route 24. After defeating the trainers here, I caught a Venonat and an Abra. A douche in the Pokemon Center tells us that he bailed his Charmander for being weak. In the pouring rain we found a Charmander not too far off and we take it with us, like in the anime. A few steps more south, we enter a small village, where we have another encounter with Team Rocket. As usual, they blast off again, and the final Kanto starter, Squirtle, joins up. Of course, including a pair of sunglasses. It was at this stage that one of my Meowth picked a 1% King's Rock, which made me literally burst out in joy, almost as I would have found a shiny. On Route 25 we stopped to get a Bellsprout. Making our way more south to Vermilion City, there's Bill's Lighthouse. Here we find Ash Krabby from the anime. After a little stop at the lighthouse, we obtained the old rod. A few steps later, we are finally in Vermilion City. We almost hit the boundaries of this section since we cannot advance further, but here we have another trait evolution, where an NPC offers us a Farfetch'd for a Spearow. Since Galar and its Pokemon hasn't been implemented yet, there's unfortunately no Sirfetch'd. After speaking to the Pokemon fan club president, who's into Fearow this time for some reason, but hey, I'm not here to judge, he gifts us a bicycle. Before leaving Vermilion to grind our Pokemon for the evolutions, I test out my old rod and got myself a Magikarp. Well, now we basically have all Pokemon we can catch up so far, so let's get into evolving. Using one of the Moonstones I either got from Mount Moon or as a pickup, I evolved Jigglypuff into a Wigglytuff. One of my Meowth I let evolve into a Persian, and it unfortunately lost its pickup ability. Geodude evolves into a Graveler and into a Golem at level 35, after about 50 minutes, thanks to grinding Ho-Ohs. Nidoran male and female evolved into Nidorino and Nidorina, and into Nidoking and Nidoqueen, using the other 2 Moonstones I found on the way. Using the pickup ability. Magikarp evolved into Gyarados after around 20 minutes, of mostly looking for Ho-Oh. Paras evolved into Parasect at level 24, Zubat into a Golbat at level 22, and Golbat into a Crobat, with enough happiness, which, as usual, took forever. I used my King's Rock and leveled up Poliwhirl during daytime to get a Politoed. Tangela evolved into Tangrowth at level 38 after learning Ancient Power. And after around 12 Ho-Ohs, and an hour and a half of searching them. That's our first Gen 4 Pokemon. Ekans evolved into an Arbok, Venonat into a Venomoth, Krabby into a Kingler, Oddish into Gloom, and using a Sunstone on it into a Bellossom. Abra into a Kadabra and into an Alakazam at level 35. Now to our starters. Yeah, it hurts that we have to evolve Bulbasaur, but it's kind of what Ash did if he would be competent. So, here we go. Bulbasaur evolved into Ivysaur and into a Venusaur at level 32. Squirtle into a Wartortle and into a Blastoise at level 36 and around 1 hour. And finally Charmander into Charmeleon and Charmeleon into Charizard at level 36, bringing our total to 71 Pokemon. There's one more thing we can do now though. I mentioned earlier that we have access to the daycare. A lot of the baby Pokemon aren't available to us yet because of the different egg groups and no Ditto, but we can get our hands on 2 more Pokemon. By breeding a female Jigglypuff and a female Clefairy respectively, we can get Igglybuff and Cleffa. Pichu is unavailable since the starter Pikachu is always a male and, as I said, there's no Ditto around yet. After this pretty tedious section, I finally had all 73 Pokemon I needed to face Misty and get my second badge. With Misty defeated, well, unfortunately nothing changes. We still can't get past Vermilion City and we have to take on Surge, unfortunately. With now Surge out of the way, the SSN opens to us. And we need to follow the plot a bit. I used that time to grind a bit for money and pick up items by defeating all trainers, and trading away my Butterfree for Eradicate, and trading it back immediately, as in the anime. Suddenly Team Rocket took over. Who could have imagined? As you can imagine, defeating Team Rocket was no issue at all, and after defeating the admin in the captain's quarters, we can continue our journey. Now the east of Vermilion is open for exploration. So we make our way to Route 11. Here we can catch a Drowsy. After releasing my Butterfree, and yes, it had to be done, no regrets here, my next destination was the underground path, leading to Route 8. From this point, Saffron City and Lavender Town are open for exploration. This excludes the Pokemon Tower. Staying on Route 8 for a while, I used my chance to capture Vulpix and a Growlithe. Stopping by in Saffron, I grabbed the Master Ball from the Sylph Company. Since the most evolution stones are not available yet, Drowsy is the only Pokemon I need to take care of in this section. Going back to Route 1 and Repeltric for Ho-Oh did the job as usual, and within 10 minutes I managed to evolve Drowsy into a Hypno. Making my way through Sabrina's gym is a horror as usual, but I finally was able to defeat her and get badge number... Is Sabrina pulling a Claire on me here? Alright, she denies us the badge until we climbed Pokemon Tower, and so we do. Arriving there, the tower is now accessible for us, and I used my chance to add Ghastly, Haunter, and a very rare wild Gengar to my dex total, bringing it to 80 Pokemon. After climbing the tower and defeating the last trainer, we are now worthy to re-challenge Sabrina. F*** you, Sabrina. After somehow getting to her again, I hate that gym, I defeated her a second time. And now we have ourselves the 4th badge. After defeating Sabrina for real now, the west gate of Saffron City is finally open. And we can make our way to Route 7. Here there is an iconic anime Primeape. We already have Primeape, so it doesn't add up to our dex total. We still take him with us, of course. Misty blocks our way to test our strength, but as you can imagine, she is no threat to us at all. In Celadon City there is a gift Eevee, which you can pick up now. When you get it, make sure to save in front of it, and make sure that it is a female Eevee. In this section we still don't have a Ditto, and to get the other evolutions, your Eevee has to be a female. Because breeding a male Eevee with another Pokemon which is not Ditto would not give you more Eevees in return. Entering the Celadon department store, we finally have the chance to get the majority of the evolution stones. The Fire, Thunder, Water and Leaf Stone. I immediately bought all the stones I needed and starting evolving the Pokemon I already had. This way I evolved Growlithe into an Arcanine, Vulpix into Volnona, Staryu into Starmie, Weepinbell into a Victreebel, and my other Oddish, after evolving it into a Gloom, into a Vileplume. After taking care of my evolutions, I went back to the daycare and put my female Eevee and my male Pikachu in there to get my hands on a few more Eevees. 7 of them to be more precisely. Getting and hatching them took quite a while, but after doing so I evolved all my Eevees I could at this point. This includes Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon and Leafeon by giving them the evolution stones. Espeon and Umbreon by leveling them up with enough happiness at day and nighttime respectively. And Sylveon, which Eevee automatically evolves into when knowing Charm, which the gifted Eevee already does luckily. The only evolution which is not available to us is Glaceon. Route 16 west of Celadon was my next area which I visited. I used that opportunity to get my hands on a Doduo. North of Route 16 there is the Gringy City power plant, which, as you can imagine, hosts a couple of new, more Pokemon to catch. Here I caught a Grimer, Muk, Magnemite and a Magneton. Wild Magnemite and Magneton also have the chance to hold the Metal Coat. And by using Thief, I got one of them while grinding. We will need that evolution item for later. After getting all Pokemon I wanted in the power plant, I made my way to Cycling Road. It is for some reason open for us without the Celadon gym badge. I made sure to talk to Professor Oak's aide in the gate building to get the amulet coin. Even though we don't have money issues at all, more money in this run is always better. Nothing for us to do on Cycling Road beside battling the trainers for money, so Fuchsia is next. In Fuchsia the East Gatehouse is blocked, but we still can enter the Safari Zone and the new area south of the city. The Safari Zone was my first goal, and there were a couple of very annoying 1% encounter rate Pokemon I had to catch there. First Pokemon I got in the Safari Zone was a static gift Taurus. Unfortunately not 11 of them, but still. One more for the Pokedex. Here I caught Execute, Rhyhorn, Pinsir, Scyther, Chansey, and I fished for a Horsey and a Dratini. Well, Dratini means that we have to get Dragonite at some point, but I wasn't concerned yet. Also, with Horsey I made sure to catch several ones. To get one holding a Dragon Scale, which is also important later. Outside of the Safari Zone I decided to stay a little bit longer in the city, and fish in the little pond behind the Warden's house. Here I got myself another Poliwag and 2 Slowpokes. After that I made my way south of Fuchsia, to Route 19. At the end of it there is a roadblock for us, but we can get some new Pokemon here at least. I got Executor and Lickitung here. At the end of the route we meet Team Rocket again, trying to steal Misty's Togepi. My Ho-Oh sent them flying off again, when Misty challenged me as well. After winning against her, there really is nothing for us to do on this route anymore. Oh, and I also ran into a shiny Spearow at this point. My very first shiny in 2021, and my first shiny since 2019. Hopefully this ends my shiny drought. After battling every trainer I can to this point and having collected quite the amount of money, I made my way back to Celadon City. To its game corner, to be more precise. After getting the coin case, I didn't spend too much time gambling this time around. I just bought all the necessary coins instead, all the 9,999 for Porygon. After overpaying way too much, I could add Porygon to my team. The update item isn't available yet, so no Porygon 2 or Z yet. Also I made sure to stop by the department store again to buy some more evolution stones. Doing so I evolved my Magneton into a Magnezone, using a Thunderstone, and evolved my Scyther by letting it hold the Metal Coat and leveling it up with a rare candy. Also I unfortunately had to evolve my starter Pikachu into a Raichu, since there's no restriction on that either. I know, it's not canon, but Ash having a Ho-Oh isn't either particularly, so yeah. Let's just forget about that. Also, see, Pikachu is still here for some reason. I made my way back to Route 1 for some more Ho-Oh training and evolved my Horsey into a Seadra, and Seadra into a Kingdra, having it hold the Dragon Scale. Lickitung evolved into Lickilicky at level 33 after knowing Rollout. My other Poliwag I evolved into a Poliwhirl and into a Poliwrath using a Waterstone. Doduo evolved into a Dodrio at level 31. One of my Slowpokes evolved into Slowbro at level 37. My other Slowpoke evolved into a Slowking by holding the King's Rock and leveling up during the day. My Chansey finally evolved into a Blissey with enough happiness. Rhyhorn into Rhydon at level 42, which took about 2 hours. And ultimately Dratini into a Dragonair and Dragonair into a Dragonite by using all of my rare candies I have found. But you know what? Since Fuchsia City was open and Koga's gym was open as well, I tried out if I could face Koga without Erika's badge. And well, it works. It just works. Right with the spirit of the Professor Oak challenge, getting as many Pokemon with the least amount of badges, and now with 124 Pokemon, we are about to get badge 5. With Koga defeated and completely skipping Erika's gym, we need to backtrack to Route 19 to get ourselves the Vermilion ticket. With that, going back to Vermilion, we are now able to take the boat to Cinnabar Island. Since there are no HMs in the game, we can't simply surf there, and we need to take the ferry instead. On Cinnabar, we immediately get the Old Rod and fish for Goldeen. Heading straight into the Pokemon Mansion afterwards, we can catch Coughing, Wheezing, Ponyta, and in the lower floor, Ditto and Magma. Some Magma hold the Magmarizer on them, so be sure to use Thief until you get the item. Using our newly acquired Ditto, immediately we can use it to breed Raichu and a Magma with it to get Pichu and Magby respectively. On Cinnabar Island there's an NPC which trades a Raichu for an Electrode. Since I don't want to trade away my starter for some reason, I evolved Pichu into a Pikachu and into a Raichu afterwards, and returned back to Cinnabar. That Electrode I immediately put into the daycare to breed for a Voltorb. Afterwards, going back to the training on Route 1 and using rare candies, I evolved my Goldeen into a Seaking, my Ponyta into a Rapidash at level 40, my Magma into a Magmortar by leveling up holding the Magmarizer. With now 137 Pokemon registered, we can take on Blaine easily. And after doing his little volcano riddle, we managed to get badge number 6. With now 6 badges, I return back to Viridian City. To my big surprise, the gym is now open, despite me skipping an entire gym. Entering it reveals that Team Rocket and Giovanni's ultimate plan, creating the genetically perfect Pokemon, went kinda wrong. Since Gary can't handle playing the hero, it's our job to defeat the monster Mewtwo. And with defeating I mean catching. After a couple of tries I caught it in an Ultra Ball, and soon after Team Rocket challenged me to battle, well, I guess you can already see where this went. The gym is now destroyed, but before I actually grab the gym badge I make sure to get the lucky egg, and Mr. Mime in Pallet Town, which voluntarily wants to join my team. We can't breed it for Mime Jr. yet unfortunately though. The guard west of Viridian tells us that she will only let us pass after obtaining 8 badges. I picked up the Earth badge and again tried my luck with only 7 badges. Funny enough, even without getting the Rainbow badge from Erika, we can now enter Route 22. On Route 22, which is the last route on mainland Kanto which we visit, we can get our last Pokemon before challenging the Indigo League. I got an Onix and a Machoke here. Giving my Machoke a rare candy, it immediately evolved into a Machamp. And that Machamp I bred with a Ditto for a Machop. The last Pokemon I have to evolve now is Onix. For that I went back to the power plant to look for another Magnemite or Magneton holding the metal coat. After a short time I got my hands on one and leveled up Onix, wearing it, evolving it into a Steelix. Now our way to the Indigo League is completely free, with 144 Pokemon. But before undertaking the challenge, we have the chance to buy some more new items at the vendors. Those items include all of the incenses. Giving Blissey the Luck Incense and our Mr. Mime the Odd Incense, we can breed for 2 more Pokemon. Them being Happiny and Mime Jr. And now, for real, with 146 Pokemon registered, we can take on the Indigo League. It's quite much as in the anime, and instead of the Elite Four, I have to fight ranked trainers. The same way as in the anime, I defeated the Water Stage, the Rock Stage, the ice stage, and after a short intermission, where I have to beat Brock, who congratulated me on having 8 badges, I continue and beat the grass stage. The Indigo stage is the last obstacle between Ash and being the champion. And Ritchie is my opponent. His team is pretty high leveled, but still my Ho-Oh one-shotted his Happy, Sparky and Zippo. Now that I am the champion... What? I did place 16? 16? I have a Ho-Oh for fuck's sake. Well, it's still Ash after all, I guess. Now you may think that I can head directly to Jotho, right? Well, no. It's time for the Orange Islands. One of my favorite seasons of the anime. Returning back to Pallet Town, Professor Oak and all of the town congratulate us to our achievements. Professor Oak wants us to visit Valencia Island on the Orange Archipelago. So we will take the blimp in Viridian City. Unfortunately, it can't just take off yet because of a Furo problem in Viridian Forest. Going there and resolving the issue, we can now set off to Valencia Island. But not before we do a final stop in Pallet Town. You see, for some reason there's now a new NPC popping up, a little girl. Interacting with her will not reveal much information. But she offers us a mysterious Pokeball before she vanishes. And, well, inside of the Pokeball is a Mew. Adding Mew to our Pokedex, we can return back to Viridian City. And now the blimp service offers us a trip to Valencia. After entering the blimp, we find out that it is a trap set up by Team Rocket. Defeating them will result in the blimp crashing and we wake up on the warm beaches of Valencia Island. Because this is still the Professor Oak challenge, the first thing we do is fishing. And Valencia Island gives us the first opportunity to get our hand on a cloister. After speaking with Professor Ivy, she gives us the GS ball. And she tells us about the Orange Islands League. To participate, we have to go to Mikan Island. We do exactly that, but sail for Tangelo Island first. Here, as on Valencia, we do some fishing. By doing so, we have the first opportunity to get ourselves a tentacle, which we gladly add to the Pokedex, of course. Not much to do here for us otherwise, but at the east side of the island we get into a bit of a problem with some trainers and the Lapras. Defeating them and kicking Tracy's butt will result in Lapras wanting to join our team in our journey, which we of course accept. Now having resolved the problem in Tangelo, Mikan Island is our next goal, and its gym. Those gyms I handle like the main ones, meaning that of course here as well, at first we will catch and evolve all what is possible first. Returning back to mainland Kanto, I bred my Cloyster with Ditto to get a Shelder, and trained Tentacool to level 30 to evolve into a Tentacruel. With now 152 Pokemon registered, we take on the first Orange Islands gym. After defeating Cissy, she hands us the Coral Eye badge. Our next goal in the Orange Island League is Naval Island. Arriving on Naval Island, of course, business as usual, we fish for a new Pokemon. This Pokemon now is Seal, which we add gladly to the Pokedex as number 153. Naval Gym is located in the Naval Rock, a huge mountain which we have to climb. Inside of the mountain, strong trainers and Pokemon awaits us. Being here, we use the opportunity to add Electabuzz here. Also, make sure to use Thief again to get the Electrizer. Cubone, Dugtrio and a Diglett. Going into the underground floor of Naval Rock, we find ourselves the Helix and the Dome Fossil. Exiting the mountain again, we make our way back to Cinnabar Island to revive our fossils. This way we can get Kabuto and Omanyte. Staying in mainland Kanto, it's time for training again. Our Cubone we immediately train up to evolve it into a Marowak. Seal into a Dugong, as well as Electabuzz evolving into an Electivire, by it holding the Electrizer while leveling it up. At last we have to bring both of our fossil Pokemon to level 40, to evolve them into Omastar after about 1 hour of grinding, and Kabutops, bringing our dex total to 164 Pokemon. Before we return back to Naval Island, we breed our Electivire with a Ditto to get an Elekid. With now 165 Pokemon registered, we can take on the gym leader Danny. After defeating him, he will give us the Sea Ruby badge. Our next stop will be the 7 Grapefruit Islands. Arriving here, it seems like the islands are a little bit barren. And you will soon find out why. A Snorlax ate all of the grapefruit and the ecosystem is on the verge of collapse. We promise to get rid of the Snorlax problem and we add Snorlax to the dex total. As you can imagine, we immediately do a 180 and return back to the daycare. Giving Snorlax the Lax Incense and breeding it with a Ditto will give us a Munchlax, making it Pokemon number 167. After our little stop, we find ourselves on Trovita Island. The next gym is located here and there is no new Pokemon to catch and evolve. So at first we defeat Lorelei and gym leader Rudy. Doing so results in us getting the Spike Shell badge from Rudy. Ascorbia Islands is our next island. On Ascorbia, by entering the grass area while doing the side quest, we have our first chance to get ourselves a Psyduck. After defeating Team Rocket again, I gave Psyduck a rare candy and it immediately evolved into a Golduck. All what can be done is done here, so we set sail for Kumquat Island and the last gym. There is no new Pokemon we can catch here either, so we take on the Kumquat Island and defeat the gym leaders. Doing so results in us getting the last orange gym badge, the Jade Star badge. Pumelo is the next place where the Orange Island League will be, so we take the ship once more. Before we take place in the league, Misty challenges us once more. And as always, it's not really a big problem for us and our overleveled team. We register for the Orange Island League and this time we immediately can fight the champion, Drake. Defeating him leaves us the champion of the Orange Islands League, this time for real. But we are not done with Kanto yet though, as we still have to hunt down the legendary birds. The Elements Islands are now unlocked for us, and I made my way to Articuno. As you can imagine, with all the legendaries it was kind of a struggle. But after 17 Ultra Balls it stayed in. Moltres was next, and it gave my team a good run for their money. One soft reset and 50 Ultra Balls later it decided to stay in the bowl. Zapdos was next and the last of the birds. And after around 13 Ultra Balls I was able to call Zapdos mine. So what to do now? I returned back to Pallet Town and was greeted by Gary, who wanted to battle me. After crushing his team, we speak with Oak. He gives us the task to travel to the Jotho region, to let Kurt take a look at the mysterious GS ball. And so we make our way west of Viridian City once more. Now that we have defeated the Indigo League and the Orange League, and we are still missing Erika's badge, but no one cares, we can take our first step into Jotho, sorry. Old habits. With 172 Pokemon registered in our pokedex. And after around 38 hours of game time. So, you may ask what Kanto Pokemon are still missing at this point. Not many actually. Missing and unobtainable at this point were only Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Kangaskhan, Jinx and Aerodactyl. But now new adventures await us, in the Jotho region. Well, that's it for the Kanto section of the Professor Oak Challenge in Fire Ash. Did you enjoy it so far? Did you not? Or are you even doing a challenge on your own, maybe right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I hope you had as much fun as I have right now. And, well, until the next time. See ya!